up until this current generation, previous generations, most families would have probably had somebody who was attached to the military. Now, involvement with the military in any sense is becoming very much a minority occupation, and that's part of the problem. I think people are just not as conscious of the need.
It would also be seen as one of the few obligations in life, that you need to take care of your family, you need to be ready to serve and protect for the king, the flag, and the nation. But today, these are all institutions that have been under heavy attack.
Yeah, and of course it is under that heavy attack, which encourages people, as I've said, on ad infinitum, Putin, and to just lesser extent the Chinese.
And unfortunately, this is also an element of information warfare that is being executed by our enemies. For years, we had, for example, Russia Today, that was able to broadcast to millions of Europeans directly to our national TV networks. And this would be the type of propaganda that would be spread, that Europe and the US and the wider West, they are the seats of evil from which this globalism is being spread, and that they invade other innocent countries, and that they keep, through NATO expansion, threatening Russia, and so on and so on. And unfortunately, a lot of that propaganda has taken root with that proportion of the population which is, in general, prone to accept these conspiracy theories. And then we have another element of a society which has been, by the far left, co-opted into this form of thinking that any form of military defense is automatically evil. Pacifism, flowers into the gun muzzles is the only way forward, and live in some form of la-la land where there is no threat from exterior countries.
Well, I mean, yes, this is the delusion of the left, of course, which is, and it's like a cancer eating through our great institutions.
So this is naturally a component that NATO also has to take into consideration, how to raise this morale among people, how to spread or rather help limit the spread of disinformation that comes from the enemy. And after 2014 and this annexation of Crimea, this is something that they had to face. 2 years later, in 2016, the annual NATO summit took place in Warsaw, and Poland was instrumental in creating a new coalition of NATO member states that were more prone to focus on the hard defense on NATO's eastern flank. So the so-called Bucharest 9 format was created, made up of 9 states on NATO's eastern flank, the 3 Baltic states, the 4 Visegrad states, meaning Poland, Czechoslovakia, and Hungary, and then also Bulgaria and Romania further down south. They joined forces before the summit, came up with a joint stance, and put pressure on the rest of NATO to create these, later it was called the NATO Enhanced Forward
Presence, yes, and these various battle groups,
yes,
dotted around this part of the world. There's one in Poland.
Yes,
Lithuania has one.
These multinational battalions were created, as you mentioned, one in each of the 3 Baltic states, one in Poland. However, battalions are still quite small. We're talking about 1,000.
I think it's a gesture, isn't it? And it becomes more complicated if I'm a Russian. If I'm a Russian, sorry, I don't know. If I'm a Russian, I accidentally shoot a Bulgarian soldier, well, somebody might say it's an accident. If I'm a Russian, I accidentally shoot an American soldier, it's a bit more complicated.
Yes.
Because the Americans take this sort of thing very seriously. So I think that's it's like a tripwire, another tripwire, I suspect.
However, after the invasion in 2022 and last year's summit in Madrid, NATO summit, there was a decision to expand these battalions into brigade size instead, so meaning 5,000 soldiers. Some had even higher ambitions. The Estonian Prime Minister, Kaja Kallas, came into the negotiations demanding division size forces, so 20 to 25,000 troops. this is still also Poland's end goal to get a full division, NATO division stationed in Poland, also to be stationed permanently, because for some reason the NATO-Russia Founding Act from 1997 is still in place. It stipulates that there are some limitations to exactly what kind of troops can be stationed in these new eastern member states of NATO.
Adam, I'm going to have to ask you to pause there. As usual, we've run out of time, but we'll pick it up next time. There we are. I've interrupted Adam almost in mid-sentence, but fear not, if you join us next time, as we hope you will, we'll pick up the story. In the meantime, thank you very much and look forward to seeing you next time on Poland Daily History.